Welcome back. All right, so I want to have some fun today. A little bit of fun talking about Atlanta. This is based on the live stream we did yesterday. But talking about how do you bring an Atlanta team in? All right, so here's how you do it. First off, it didn't work with the Flames from 78 to 80. It didn't work with the Thrashers from 99 till 2011. Now, in the case of the Thrashers, it was ownership. It was ownership. It was not attendance. It wasn't that nobody was coming out to watch the games. Atlanta was not at the bottom of the league in terms of attendance. It was bad ownership, and it was also a bad product on the ice. They made the playoffs once the entire time that they were in Atlanta as the Thrashers, and as the Atlanta Flames, they couldn't get anywhere in the playoffs either. So that was definitely part and parcel of why things didn't necessarily work out in Atlanta. And I've mentioned before, the Atlanta expansion being such a disaster is part of the reason why Vegas was given better expansion draft. Why Seattle was given a better expansion draft, and it made them competitive right away, which I think is a better way to go, especially with the amount of money that the NHL's charging for expansion teams. They should be not too bad right out of the gate if you're spending more than $500 million on a team, or even $500 million. Because seriously, for $500 million, you might want a few hockey players that are decent thrown in there. So the joke for this yesterday was that I started with they could be the peaches, and like, hey, the pits, because you have pits in each of those peaches, but obviously that's not going to work. But I'm going to say this: some kind of tie-in where a peach color is used as an accent on the jersey. Maybe it's a secondary color, could work. I do think that can work. I think you can do something really fun if you think outside the box. One team that I would say thinks outside the box in the minor leagues is the Iowa Heartlanders. And Iowa's been pretty good in terms of jerseys over the years. I've got a ton of Iowa jerseys. If we ever go to Iowa, I'm covered, as I've said before. So, thinking of things a little bit differently, I think, is good. And not everybody has to have like this fierce looking logo or corporate looking logo either. You can have fun with it. Now, looking at Atlanta and Georgia as a whole. Now, Atlanta is a city that's a hub for tech and big corporations. You might be able to come up with a fun name out of that. You may very well be able to come up with a fun name out of that. The fact there's a lot of corporate headquarters in Atlanta. It's a hub city. It's one of the most busy airports. And I was trying to think of something airport related as well, but thinking, well, okay, we've already got the jets. So it's hard to think of something that's not going to be confused with the Jets. And you lost your last team to Winnipeg, so you're probably not going to want some kind of tie-in that seems similar to, adjacent to, the Winnipeg Jets. Now, there's booming production in terms of TV and movies there, and it feels like it started with The Walking Dead. I know it didn't, but I remember that Georgia Peach logo at the end of every Walking Dead episode. And so, if they did some kind of tie-in with that, and before anybody goes, hey, you can't do a tie in like that, well, the Mighty Ducks did pretty well in Anaheim. So if you can find the right tie in, it can work. Now, I don't think a zombie name is going to work. So that kind of goes by the wayside, right? But you can have some fun with it. And I think the fact that there's TV and movies, there's different, and a big, basically their rail system was huge, and around the Civil War, that was seen as a key point. So there were fights there. That's how you end up with Atlanta burning and all that fun stuff, right? So just it's been the center of attention in the U.S. before, and you could make mention of some of that there. So it's also known as the city in the forest, if due to its tree canopy. The coverage was at one point up to 48%. The coverage of that canopy is now 38% of the city. The city's working on tree planting and trying to get that canopy back up to where it was. Because it's kind of a fun thing to have a city that's in a forest and have that as a feature. And I don't know that you can have a hockey tie-in with that either. But there's a good lumber industry there. That's how you lose some of that tree canopy. Is your lumber industry cutting some of those trees down and all that fun stuff. And also, of course, basically growing the city and knocking trees down to put up condos, that kind of thing as well. Seen that plenty around here too. But lumber industry, again, you can come up with various names from this. And I didn't want to come up with necessarily just a flat out a name here. You guys can throw names in the comment section. Now, the state bird is the brown thrasher. Thus, the fact that this is a brown thrasher that's on the Thrashers jersey. The state insect is the honeybee. Now, when Utah's looking for a name, of course, Their honey, the whole idea of using honeybees in Utah was an idea as well. It doesn't look like Utah is going to use that. Maybe that works here. Maybe it can absolutely work here, right? The state flowers the Cherokee rose. So again, you could have the Cherokee rose on the shoulders. You could do again peach accents on the jersey, something really interesting there. And then the state nicknames, the Peach State and the Empire State of the South. So the Atlanta Empire, I mean, right? And yes, that would probably rile up some from New York. Like, hey, New York's the Empire State. It's the Empire State of the South. I think there are some fun ideas in there. Now, there are two different groups who are trying to bring hockey to Atlanta. And the one that jumped in second, it sounds like at this point in time is more likely to get that NHL bid, though both of them have some serious money and backing there. Alpharetta Sports and Entertainment Group. This is the Anson Carter led one. They want a new arena designed by Frank Gehry, which is bonkers, right? Frank Gehry designed some interesting looking buildings. And that's at the North Point Mall site in Alpharetta, 30 minutes from where the Thrashers played. So not technically it's in a suburb of Atlanta. And Krause Sports and Entertainment, this is where they want to build the Gathering at South Forsyth, which at times has seemed like it's that project's not necessarily going to get off the ground, and then at times it will. Now, there's a $2 billion project in place, which includes $700 million for the arena, which would seat 18,500 fans, I do believe. And this is designed to attract an NHL franchise. It is 6 miles north of the North Point Mall site, which is also in Alpharetta. Both of these are in Alpharetta. So the question that I have too is something simple. We saw the Phoenix Coyotes become the Arizona Coyotes. Might it be better for a team going to Atlanta not to be called Atlanta the third time around? Might it be better for them to be Georgia? Might that work a little bit better? And again, the idea is that if you're going to make it work in Atlanta the third time, and it's going to be a challenge to make this work, I think. The NHL sounds very confident. Bill Daly saying that they think that they can overcome the challenges they had the last time around. I do think it's going to be tough out of the gate because you've got hockey fans my age who are going to remember twice losing their team. And it would be difficult to attract some of them back that would say, no, I already gave my money back in 2010 and all the way back to 99 for that team. And then they left. So I don't want to get my hopes up. That's the same thing that happened to us in 1980. So I think having a team with Georgia as the name, and then you could have something after that, I think it would feel completely different. Which is why I'm talking about making a jersey that would look completely different too. And having a unique color set and a unique design to the jersey so that Atlanta at least feels brand new and it feels like something completely different, even though, yes, it's in a similar area to where the Thrashers were playing. But if it's a 30-minute drive, maybe you do attract more fans. Maybe it is easier to fill the building. We'll see what ends up happening. Only one of these groups can be successful, but conventional wisdom at this point is one of these groups will be successful and will attract a team to Atlanta, whether it's the Alpharetta Sports and Entertainment Group or Krause Sports and Entertainment. It does look like we're going to see Atlanta get a team back. I'm in favor of it being called Georgia instead of Atlanta and coming up with something state-related, something related to locals, which again, Atlanta Flames related to Atlanta almost completely burning to the ground, and the Thrashers being named after the state bird. There's definitely some tie-in with the whole state with that idea, but I think that it would be a good idea to come up with something completely different. So let me know your thoughts. Which name do you think would work for the team? Which of the items I've got on the board that could lead to a name do you think works? Keep in mind we've had the Kraken. It looks like we're going to have the Yeti. Let's not call this team the Godzilla. Let's not name this team Mothra or something else that doesn't exist. Let's not do that. Let's give them a name of something that exists, that's real. And because I think the mythical beasts, I think that's something that we're gonna. And I know there's gonna be people like Yetis are real. Okay, cool. Yetis are real. Got it. Cool. Fun. But anyways, yeah. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event that you've not already done so. I just wanted to do this for fun. I did. And I think if you had the Georgia Bees, the Georgia something, something different, I think it could work. But let me know what you think will work. Or I know a lot of people are going to be like, nothing's going to work. It's not going to work in Atlanta. They need to stop. I don't think they're going to stop. I think they're going to try a third time. Maybe the third time's the charm. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support as always. I will talk to you again soon.